This is my review of the ABBA album Arrival. If you watch my channel normally, you probably notice I switch things around a little bit. Pretty much like my TV was at this end of the room and my desk was at that end of the room, and I play a lot of video games, so I was having a hard time seeing the games from that far away, so I moved the desk closer. Yeah, there's blankets over my windows. Kind of probably seems weird, but long story short, like, my neighbors are weird. I overheard them telling someone someday that they could like know if I was home or not because they could see through the gaps in my windows, which kind of freaked me out. Like, I don't know. That's just weird. Somebody like looking through the gaps in your windows. So I made sure there are no gaps anymore. So anyway, this album, Arrival, is one that I bought last year. I think it was August last year. So an album that I've not had very long, not one that I've listened to a whole lot, honestly. And I think the reason was when I first listened to it, I kind of thought that the album had a little bit of a weak start and then was like really good at the end. So I kind of spent a lot of time just listening to the songs I like on this album rather than listening to the full album. But I have to say that listening to it again, my opinion on that's changed. Like a lot of these albums, and it's gone up. Like basically, my opinion on all these albums keep going up the more I listen to them. And I think that, well, I'll kind of get into the reason why I thought this album had a weak start. But my opinion of it's definitely gone up. I also have to talk about something from my last review for a bit. When I was reviewing the ABBA album ABBA, I think I accidentally, like, when I was reviewing, I think I counted the 2 bonus tracks as actual tracks on the album because I must have just missed that they were bonus tracks when I was reading the back of it or whatever, because it doesn't, like, I usually have it up on like iTunes or whatever while I'm writing my notes so that I can see which track comes next, and that doesn't always have a cutoff for the bonus tracks, so I think I counted the bonus tracks as songs on the albums, but that wouldn't have changed my overall rating of the album. I think I gave it a 4 out of 5, which also to kind of go into more depth on my like rating system and where I think I'm at with it is like 5 would be just albums that are great, like just godlike, there's nothing wrong with them, like albums that would make my top whatever list. Albums that are 4 out of 5 are just really good albums that just miss being perfect. 3 out of 5 is a really good album but has some bad points. 2 out of 5 would be a pretty mediocre album but still has some good points. 1 out of 5 would be bad, and 0 out of 5 would be shit. So that's kind of where I'm at with the rating. But anyway, going into the album, so the first song on this album, and kind of I think the reason why I thought this album started out weak, the first song, When I Kissed the Teacher, just sort of a strange lyric. Like, it's not a bad song. The lyric's a little weird. I think that, like, I've got this thing where, like, lyric, I think I've said this before, is probably, like, one of the least important things in a song to me. A lot of other things come before that. So there's a lot of songs with weird lyrics that I don't really have a problem with. But a lot of it has to do with if the like rest of the song kind of overwhelms like how weird the lyric is, and this one is just kind of like it's just kind of an okay song. I don't really think I would mind it at all if it was somewhere else on the album, but is the opening track, like, that kind of, it just seems a little off to me, and I think it kind of affected my feeling of the rest of the album a little bit, since they do lead off with that track. But it's not bad. I think it's just a little weak for the opening, and it's got kind of a weird lyric. But at the same time, it's not really a bad song by any means. The second song, Dancing Queen, It's the first ABBA song I've ever heard, or I ever heard. I kind of went into that story a little bit last week with the second song I ever heard. So I'm not going to really go into all that again, but Dancing Queen, just great song. I mean, I liked it the first time I heard it. Still think it's great. Still think just a great song. One of those ones that I think it's catchy enough that like I don't really get tired of it. You know, it comes on and it's like, oh, this one's good. Turn it up. You know. The third song, My Love, My Life, one that took a while to grow on me, but I think it's a really pretty song. It's got some really beautiful vocals on it by I think. I always was saying her name like Agnetha, but I think it's more pronounced like Agnetha or something. I'm not really sorry that I'm not really sure how to pronounce their names right, but she does a great job. Just beautiful vocal on it. Really cool song. So that's one that's definitely grown on me. The fourth song, Dum Dum Diddle, one with kind of the lyrics on the chorus are a little silly. But it's also just like a really insanely catchy song, so I really like it. The fifth song, Knowing Me, Knowing You, great. It's probably one of the earliest songs on like their greatest hits album that I just really liked. It's got some really cool guitar parts to it. The vocals are amazing. I really like just like how they've got like the girls singing one part and then the guys like singing another part and stuff. It's just a really cool song. The sixth song, Money, 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 another one I like. Another one where I think Benny plays some really cool stuff on the keys. Really still think he's a pretty underrated player. The seventh song, That's Me. I like it. It's a cool song. It kind of sounds like disco-ish to me, which I'm not. See, obviously I'm a lot younger, didn't live through the 70s, so I'm not really sure what's classified as like disco and not. We just kind of grew up with this like understanding, I guess, of what the stereotypical disco sound was. To me, it's a song that kind of seems to fit that sound, but I kind of think that sounds cool, so I like the song. The eighth song, Why Did It Have to Be Me? Song that's sung by like Bjorn in some parts, and then there's parts where the girls come in too. It's kind of reminds me a little bit of like a 50s rock kind of song. I like it a lot though. I think they do a really good job with it. I think all the vocals are really good. The end part of the song where it goes into like, I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it sounds almost like some kind of horn. It's like like it. I don't know. It goes on at the end for a bit where it's like kind of instrumental, and that always gets stuck in my head. So it's a really catchy song, and I like it a lot. The ninth song, Tiger, another song that's really cool. Not really sure what they're talking about in it lyrically, but just a cool song. It's a lot of fun. More great vocals. And then the 10th and final song on the album, the closing track, Arrival, and the title track is really cool. It's I'm not sure if it's technically an instrumental because it sounds like they sing on it, but it's not like lyrics. It's kind of like like that. But just a really cool song. It's hard to describe the sound of it, honestly. Like it sounds really cool. I'm not really even sure if it's like happy because it almost sounds a little sad, sort of. I don't know, just a really cool kind of piece of music. I feel like the Titanic soundtrack from that movie kind of like stole things from this song because that's what it makes me think of. So anyway, and the bonus tracks, there's Fernando, which I didn't really like read up on this before doing this video, which I probably should have, but that must have been like a single or something because it was on the greatest hits album, so I knew it from there. And it's a good song, actually. I kind of almost wish that it was the opening track instead of the song that is the opening track, because I think it would have made the album maybe a 5 out of 5. And then the other bonus track, Happy Hawaii, is kind of like a redo of Why Did It Have to Be Me, but I like Why Did It Have to Be better. So anyway, the album as a whole, Arrival, I give a 4 out of 5. I don't think it's quite perfect. I think that just that first song is the only thing that drags it down a little bit for me, and that's probably seems like a little harsh, but I don't know. The first song does have like a huge, I feel like it has a big impact on how you view the rest of the album. I think it's why it took me a little bit longer to get in this album than what I did, but still a very good album. I definitely recommend checking it out. Just got a lot of cool songs on it.